Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some Vinland Saga. We got a comment here today from Reigenmacher175 in response to last episode saying, Vinland is not just a metaphor in the story, although it is also that. That's all I'm gonna say. To say that the story has been falsely advertised is maybe a bit hasty. As to Snake's relationship to Zervkul, I think he was just joking. He clearly cares enough about the old man to read the Bible to him and to look for him when he thinks that something may have happened to him. They seem to get along better than Zervkul and Kettle. So I think it's probably good to preface. I think a lot of our accusations of false advertising are definitely a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. It is a joke, but at the same time, what season are we on, Griff?
We're on season 2. We're halfway through
Yeah,
it.
we're halfway through. We're on episode 14, did you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So halfway through the second season. Are we in Vinland yet, Griff?
Yeah, you know what? I'm in Vinland in spirit right now.
No. See, that's the metaphorical Vinland, the heavenly Vinland. That's where your spirit would go. But let me ask you this, Griff. Are we in metaphorical Vinland either?
We're in literal Vinland right now,
No,
actually.
we're not. We're not in literal Vinland. That's
Well, you
America.
might be. I'm further away.
That doesn't even make sense, Griff. That doesn't make any sense. If you're talking about us, the real people, we're both in literal Vinland. But
Exactly.
I'm saying that we are, as the characters in the show, are not in literal Vinland, and we're not in figurative Vinland. So we're in neither
Yeah.
Vinland. So even our tongue-in-cheek joke is still true, in that this Vinland Saga has yet to reach either Vinland, the metaphorical
I
heavenly Vinland, or the literal Vinland we were shown in
right.
episode 1.
Yeah. We still don't know if they ever actually physically go there. I'm still wagering that they will, because why else would we put so much emphasis on it if not to end up in there in some way with these characters who specifically go there, right?
On one hand, if it's like the end of season 2 and they get off the boat and it's like we're now here in Vinland, fade to black, I will feel a little bit robbed. At the same time, I'm aware. I read this somewhere. Someone said it to me that there's still enough content left in the manga for like another 2 seasons at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still impossible that we could like fade to black on Vinland at the end of this season and still have just as many seasons in Vinland as
Mm-hmm.
having not been in Vinland. In which
If
case,
that was the end of the story, at least it would have paid it off then, right?
well, no, I'm saying that if we spent 2 seasons not in Vinland, wrap up the very end of this season getting to Vinland, and
Yeah.
then they make another 2 seasons in Vinland, fine, that'd be perfectly fine. That'd be don't care.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is a saga that got us there and finished there. That'd be great if what I've understood is true. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I do not think it's a bit hasty to be, what are we, 38 episodes in now
Yeah.
and haven't reached Vinland? I don't think that's hasty. I think that is apropos. I think that is on point for being exactly as measured as you need to be.
Yeah, I think like the deep anxiety is like whether or not they get there actually changes the very nature and meaning of the story, right? Because if they never get there and Thorfinn just dies and his last words are, I really wish I went to Vinland, that is a completely different story than Thorfinn finally gets to relax a bit and go to Vinland, right?
I feel it's very much in the line of a Siskel and Ebert review, right? Where you
Mhm.
watch a movie where like this is monster that's been touted, right? And you don't
Yeah,
see the monster for like an hour and 15 minutes in of a
yeah.
90-minute movie, of a 90-minute running movie, right? Where like you are advertised on a thing. In this case, episode 1, Leif Erikson is talking about Vinland and we see it, and then 34 episodes in, still not in Vinland. That is that Seskel and Ebert review of
Mhm.
they didn't have enough money for the monster, so they spent it on the hour preceding the movie with a bunch of characters.
I think it's also worth noting that, like, what this also sells you on is different from season 1 to 2, because season on like some of the political gaming, some of the drama, and then some really cool fighting that's happening, right? You want to see more cool fighting. That's why you keep watching for season 1, yeah? And season 2, you go to the farm. It is a completely different show now. 100%.
To be fair, though, you're probably being sold on each season by the trailers, right? That come in. In which case, yeah, you probably got sold on the whole Farmville thing by the seasonal trailer. So it's not like you're carrying the expectations of season one into season two. Is like, oh, they lied to me. I
Yeah,
expected
yeah.
to see. I don't know what you'd expect to see in season two after, because season one literally ends on the whole boat with Einar being shipped off to a slave auction. So you just don't know who the
Yeah.
fuck Einar is at that moment. So
I guess there's always the classic saying, Vinland Saga is a land of contrasts.
yeah, that classic saying that we've said every day here on the channel, I believe.
It's
Can't
what you say when you're trying to introduce something and you have nothing to say about it.
I can't go a day without talking to Griff where he doesn't say Vinland. Something of
A
contrasts. Well,
land of
yeah, whatever
contrasts.
he just said. God, won't
On to
fucking
the other
shut up
half
about
of
it.
the comment. Snake's relationship with Circle. I think I think they have a good relationship. I like the way that they're going. And yeah, Snake is definitely being he's trying to be cool, right?
I mean, you
That's
don't
the
have a
vibe.
name like Snake without that. I mean, I assume that when he's not on screen, he's wearing like a greaser's jacket and his hair is slicked back.
Tunnel snakes rule, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what the relationship is because
mhm.
Snake and crew got hired to be here to like protect, right? They're the hired guns, as it were, without the
Yeah, and he
guns.
actually is out there doing his job pretty frequently
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. But why would he settle here on the old man, who's the dad of the guy who hired him? Right? It
Hmm.
doesn't make much sense. And if you're like, oh, they have some sort of bond, sort of thing. Think, what's the first time we saw Snake? Okay, what's not the first time we saw Snake because his head was under a book, but we didn't know his name was Snake. The first time we saw Snake is when Thorfinn is being like tortured
Yeah.
by God, what's his name? I'm gonna call him Weasel because I don't remember what his fucking name is.
Fox. Fox
Fox.
and
I'm close.
Weasel or Badger,
I
I
think
think is the
Fox
other
is
one.
close enough to Weasel to say that's an acceptable substitute.
I
Yeah,
think you'll find anyway.
where he's getting all cut up and everything like that, and that's where Snake comes up with his whole "I can see the warrior in him," or "he's not afraid to die" sort of thing. And that
Mhm.
doesn't really hold sway to what we know about the old man. And it's like Snake also hasn't given heavy Christian vibes like Canute used to. It's just that he can read the Bible, and he hasn't like given his opinion on the Bible either. So the most we know that he cares about him is like, oh, where's the old man? Rushes off on horseback to find him.
Yeah. I think last episode we literally have him say a line where he's just like, when the old man dies, I get to inherit the book, and the book is worth a lot of money, and that's why I'm here. And speaking back to coolness again, the entire air of coolness is actually to of hiding the genuine self, right? People put on the act because of a fear of being genuine to other people. Maybe he is more interested into it than he lets on, and he hides himself behind that layer of coolness so that he can keep doing his job and doing the things he needs to do and keep up the impression he needs to other people.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I feel like Snake as a character is anything but the person that we've seen. Because on
Hmm.
a face value, you have the cool Snake guy, but you also have the Snake who doesn't care. Like I'm here
Yeah.
for the free meal and the free book, and
Snake when
that
he's let
doesn't
his guard down
and that
some.
also doesn't feel like the real Snake either.
Hmm. Yeah. It's funny because Snake has had a minimal amount of time with us, yet also has somehow built up a very interesting character. So A plus show, A plus. So I think that at least covers the comment. Theta, you want to hear what happened last time?
I'm sure you're gonna tell me.
I will, because last time was Dark Clouds, where a slave at Kajalakar's farm on Kettle's estate escapes after killing his master and his sons and setting fire to the farmhouse. He then heads off to find his wife, although suffering from a stab wound. At Serfkel's farm, Einar contemplates his future, possibly with Arnheid. Uh, Later, Thorfinn, Einar, and Snake discover that Circle has collapsed in the field, and the mistress of Kettle's farm assigns Arnhild to help care for him. 3 days later, Fox informs Snake of the escaped slave and the reward of 3 horses for his capture. And Snake advises caution if he is found. Later, Fox, Badger, that was the other guy, it was Badger, and Lizard find the slave in the
Used to
woods.
sell drugs from Breaking Bad.
But as they begin arguing loudly about the reward, the slave attacks them, killing Lizard and wounding Badger. But at the farm, Thorfinn eavesdrops on Snake reading a passage from the Bible about loving one's enemies to a bedbound dying circle. They are interrupted when the slave rides by on a stolen horse pursued by Fox and Badger. While Snake rushes to get his sword, Arnheid recognizes the escapee as her husband, Gardar. And that is actually the drama we're getting into right there.
Yeah, because it freeze framed on him freezing and looking at them.
Mm-hmm. There's no way this story ends without Gardar dying as tragically as possible, right?
Why not?
I guess the alternative is Arnheid and Garnar get on a horse together and manage to flee and then are no longer part of the story. That feels like not paying off all the tension that Einar has built up around the idea of wooing of wooing I forgot names again. Arnheid. We've spent like all of our time on Einar, focusing on like he wants her, he's trying to build up a good relationship, he's like infatuated, and he wants to make a move at some point, and now her husband shows up. Einar will not be happy if he lives or if they escape.
Let me pitch this at you then, Griff. What if she dies?
Ooh,
She dies
everybody's unhappy.
and the husband lives.
Bold move, sir.
Well, remember what's happening, too, is that we have 70-something men coming to the farm.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that about to happen. We're not there just yet, but it's about to happen.
Yeah. What if, in the defense of the farm, she dies, and Einar and this guy both survive?
That would be very funny. I would be...
Well, wouldn't be funny for a lot of the characters, no, but...
Not for them, no, but for me, the agent of chaos.
Remember, my predictions all tend to fall on the what would be the worst for all involved things, right? Mm-hmm. So, obviously the husband would be pleased if his wife lived and Einar died. Einar would be happy if the husband died and she lived, because, you know, she's not going to be happy for a while, but he could possibly make her happy. What's the worst situation then? She dies, and they're left together. Hey, you've been hitting on my wife. Hey, everybody hits on your wife. You know? Not a happy situation for both of them.
Where do I feel the show has been going? Like, the show definitely has plenty of tragedy in it, but we've also spent, like, 12 out of 14 episodes here vibing on the farm, right? What isn't there, like, the angle that the show's trying to show positive things after tragedy? We're in the healing arc, right? We can't possibly end up with more murder, yeah?
I don't know there's such thing as a healing arc in Vinland Saga.
I don't know. I think Thorfinn's done some healing with his PTSD, right? I don't think he's waking up in the middle of the night so much anymore.
Yeah, but Thorfinn's healing arc also coincided with Canute's fall into, I don't want to say insanity. He is talking to his dead father's head, but I guess it's insanity. It's either that or it's...
Guilt. Massive guilt.
you can feel guilty without seeing your dead father's head and talking to it.
You can feel really guilty about the people you killed, that's for sure.
It's multiple personality disorder?
I feel like it's still more metaphorical, but
It's not metaphorical. You see him talking to him. It'd be metaphorical if it was like the Thorfinn scene where like we're in hell, right, and we're talking to Askeladd. That's metaphorical because it's a dream. Canute is awake, people are moving around him, and then he looks down, it's his fucking dead father's head. It's not metaphorical. I believe that Canute is seeing this.
So we are about to see a dead head riding into battle on top of a horse. So let's go see it. But before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check us out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord, tell me what your favorite member of the Grateful Dead was.
Hold up, is this brand new? Or am I forgetting?
I don't... Yeah, I think this is brand new. Because we're obviously not carveting it in anymore. That's our previous opening.
We are at a halfway transition point.
I just can't remember skirt shots. I mean, what was I saying? I just can't remember if we've seen this one last time or not, and I don't think so.
Oh, that's a hell of a crown.
Is it a crown or a helmet? I mean, everyone who said that this season wasn't going to be about combat is really confusing when we watch this intro.
We're going to have one very important battle where everything is on the line for everybody.
It really looked like Einar had a kid there, or that was Kettle with one of his kids.
Maybe.
Apparently Dracula is going to show up. No, okay, we've seen this before. We've seen this before, because I addressed the whole he sat on a shore looking at his father from across the way, last episode, I think.
アルネイズするとここがケティルの農場なんということだ
What happened to my face?
数日の近きにそなたたちがいようとは
Didn't animate his face. Oh, there it goes.
だが前にも増して美しい なんだ夫なのかアルネイズさんのヒャルティは元気かもう大きくなったのであろうな
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. We have not seen such a character. This doesn't bode well for anybody.
The name sounds familiar, but it means nothing at all. Going to be a problem for us.
さあ帰ろう3人で私たちの家へその手を取るなアルネイズ 取れば
Alright, Snake, let's see you be badass. Let's do it.
But why wouldn't you kill him anyway?
I guess if Arnie, like, takes his hand, then Snake might be obligated to deal with Arnie, too.
No, yeah, he threatened to kill him, though. Also, why'd we kill the horse? It's one of your horses.
Oh, that's some barbarian face there. He forgets.
トカゲがやられたってのは本当か？
はい、頭を割られて。
そうか。
I mean, this is a man who has a reason to fight. So,
死んでも渡すな。
He might also be on a murder-suicide pact. Maybe slight separation is also good.
だったらなんだ？
nobody ever answers a question like that directly.
殺せ！
やめてガルザル、こんなの無茶よ。ガルザル。
I killed a lot of people. It doesn't matter anymore.
Haidar, you are going to die.
ヘビさんに切りかかるつもりなのか？
地上なら分かってる。アルネイツさんの弟子が彼女を助けに来たんだ。アルネイツさんに自由になってほしくないのかよ。
欲しいさ。けど状況を見ろ。
What I tell you?
3人倒さなきゃ
She's gonna die, and these two are gonna
俺
live.
が力不足なのは分かってる。だけど
エイナル、俺はそんなこと言ってるんじゃない。お前に人が殺せるのか？相手が逆人だろうと誰だろうと、この斧で人を殺せるのか？
Ah, Thorfinn tried to be so good here.
だって。じゃあどうすりゃいいんだよ。賢明だな、トルフィン。お前らそこでおとなしく見てろよ。こいつは生けとる。
Ah, the old sidestep.
一応尋問して身元を改める。
He's all bouncy and full of energy and ready to dodge, and then we got Menace here from Gardar.
He's pulling the old Captain Kuro from One Piece.
気をつけろ兄貴。そいつ強えぞ。誰に向かって。
Doesn't that look like I'm already fighting him?
This is definitely the most skilled versus skilled battle we've seen in a while, too. This is good.
生け取れる相手じゃねえよ兄貴。殺しちまえ。やかましい。軽く準備体操してただけだ。つうかお前ら、あいつに人たち入れたのか？え？あ、いや、恥ずかしながら。
Maybe if I had ever opened my eyes.
怪我人相手に3人がかりで負けてんじゃねえよ。やっぱそこか。
Oh, okay. He did it.
Well, Snake used to work for the government where he killed a lot of people as a hired assassin. But thankfully he's since turned his blade around so that he could hit people with the back of it. Have you started a burger place? Wherever you stop. And this started the legend of Five Guys Burger and Fries.
So this isn't how either of us thought it would go.
Well, I don't think it's done yet.
見逃してあげられませんか。こんなのあんまりだ。
奴は俺の手下を殺した。他でも殺しをした疑いがある。しかも旦那に殺意を持ち、旦那の気に入りのアルネイズをさらう気でいる。見逃せるわけねえだろ、そんな奴を。
Oh gosh, Kettle's gonna come back to all this drama too, isn't he? He's got real problems, and this is gonna be the first thing he encounters.
Well, also that his dad is so sickly he can barely move anymore.
Nothing in Kettle's life is gonna go right now.
I think it's harder for the fact that she just got reminded of her kid that died. More so than hearing her husband calling for her.
Somehow it's more tragic than putting an end to everything.
What's the unseen thing?
Mm-hmm.
Our son should be so big by now. Our son is dead.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
エイナル待て。
エイナルさん、座っていてください。もうすぐお夕飯ですから。
Our stew of water, a carrot, and a piece of butter, it looked like.
砦に忍び込んでガルザンさんを助けられるかもしれない。何もしなかったら旦那さんは確実に処刑されるんですよ。
ありがとう。でもいいんです。どうにもならないことってあるわ。そういう時
Oh,
は
that is as defeatist an attitude as possible. I feel so bad.
じっとして嵐が過ぎるのを待つの。
I don't know if it's defeatist.
エイナルさんま
It's
で
accepting how things were supposed to be. If you already thought your husband was gone and dead, then just waiting for him to actually be gone and dead doesn't change very
好
much.
きじゃないんですか。
Oh, Einar, why would you say that?
結婚なんて親同士が決めるものだけど、彼は私と息子に優しい人だった。
だったら行きましょう。たとえヘビさんたちとやり合うことになっても何もしないよりマシだ。そうだろドルフィン。頼むドルフィン、力を貸してくれ。俺が見張りを引きつけるから。お前は。
私はお鍋のせいで息子を失いました。少し私のことをお話しさせていただけますか？
Old man, just
Just listening in.
why does all this shit happen in my room all the time? Dinner's never coming, is it?
Gosh, this is taking the most somber tone possible.
私たち一家はスウェーデンのある集落に暮らしていました。
To be fair, there was no way it was going to turn into an upturn. Happy story, unless she revealed that she's from the future or some shit. I come from a land called England in the year 2025.
息子が1
We
歳
could have had different brands of
遠い
sadness.
森の奥に鉄の取れる沼地が見つかって、
My brand.
いくつかの勢力の間でその沼地の所有権をめぐって争いが起きました。争っている人たちの中にはガルザルの友人もいて、彼に助けを求めてきたの。ガルザルは集落の皆にそのことを伝え、男たちは話し合いました。
None of them had eyes until we
戦いに
got
参
closer
加
to
す
them.
る
Never mind.
か否か。
I'm never going to stop making fun of this animation tactic of not drawing eyes until you're, well, that Civil War thing about being close enough to see the whites of their eyes.
参加でした。
It's just all about focus.
私たち女はそれを聞いてびっくりしました。だって私たちの集落は別にお鍋や鎌の刃に困ってなかったんですもの。
Okay, when she said pots, I thought it was like a sickness.
それでも
Not literally died to
男たち
pots.
の決定を女が覆すことはできません。お願い、考え直してガルザル。今鉄が足りなくて困っているわけじゃないでしょ。 どうして入りもしないもののために命を懸けるの？
Oh, now there's a statement and a half right there.
Because it's there.
西のイングベは野心の強い男だ。
That's not a name.
奴
Somebody coughed when they were naming a baby.
一帯の均衡は崩れるだろう。村も豊かになるのだ。お前たちもな。キャルティ
The kid we already know is dead.
父は戦うのだぞ。
I'm just more interested now in knowing how he died to Potts.
理解できませんでした。
At this point, it's about the greed of iron.
一緒にいてくれればいいのに。
Then you would say he died because of Potts. I believe she said he died to Potts.
We had so many pots, they fell on top of
若い
him.
男は皆戦へ赴き、残された女と子供は家を守り、数週間が経ちました。そして船を見たとき、
Oh, this whole thing.
Oh no.
Like the gladiators, the kid gets run over by horses motif.
それは
Yep, there it is.
Our main characters, and also our villains.
家は焼かれ、老いた者は殺され、女は船に乗せられ、連れ去られました。
Not gonna mention that other famous thing that Vikings did to women.
私はヤルティを
So maybe he's not dead. Unless they're about to do something vicious in this flashback. He might not be dead.
I'm picturing the viciousness here myself. I
I'm
can't
picturing...
imagine they're still alive. That would be...
I swear I fucking think I heard this name before in the show. It's entirely possible.
彼を恐ろしいと感じました。
There's gonna be some shit soldier out there. His name's Shit.
苦しみが彼を変えてしまったのでしょう。今は彼こそが嵐そのものです。
Hey, it's an analog to where Thorfinn was.
No. I side with this fucking guy. Thorfinn was a shit.
It's not about siding, it's about similarities.
Thorfinn wanted to go on an adventure and got his dad killed. This guy wanted to make a better life for his family. One of these is not like the other. I guess this is Einar figuring out that she's up to this too. So I don't think Einar has ever been in a position to realize that she's been sleeping with Kettle.
There we go. What she wanted all along, just everyone to be at peace. And she's not going to get it at all.
I mean, the piano guy is really earning his money today.
Why do we even have that guy around here? Ooh. Nice little wind chimey emptiness. So maybe we are going a little crazy now.
I don't know. the way that I read that little fire crackle thing is not the way the scene seems to be going.
待つんじゃなかったのか、アルネイズ。
聞いていらしたん
You
です
can't free Gardar with a bucket.
お前らはわしがすっかり猛録したと思っとるようじゃが、まだまだ正気じゃ。侮るなよ。
せめて傷の手当てだけでも。わかるんです。もう会うべきではないと。なのにどうして。
わしもかつてじっと耐えて嵐をやり過ごしたことがある。
Ooh.
いや、隠れておったのだ。震えながら。
In or out?
あれは
In.
もう
He must be in because he's still talking. I don't think he talked to an empty room.
He's more senile than he thinks. He just keeps talking anyway.
ケティル、息子は同郷の美しい娘と愛し合っておった。
Oh, does Einar... Not Einar. Does
Arnheid look
Ernhide
like her.
look, yeah. She's wearing the same outfit.
近隣で力を伸ばしていたエッベという男に見初められてしまい、わしらは苦しい決断を迫られた。ケティルは娘を守るために戦いも辞さない覚悟だった。だが我らの力は当時まだ小さく、エッペに恐れをなす者も多かった。逆らえば滅ぼされると。我らの下した決断は服従だった。ノルドの男が聞いて呆れる。わしは保身のために一人の娘を差し出したのだ。
Well, when you put it that way, it sounds really terrible, huh?
そして娘が嫁いだ日、
Because human life is all too easy to end when you think about it.
エッペの富を妬み、憎しみを抱いた男の仕業だった。
His name was Askeladd.
知らせを聞いて駆けつけた時には、もう何もかも焼き尽くされた後だった。
So really, if you think about it, if you had stood up to him, all of this would have been handled without you having to do anything.
We have gotten several stories in a row about how the greed in the heart of men leads to everybody's tragedy. I think there's a theme to this episode, Theta.
No,
Do you?
his fucking story plays the opposite way. If he had stood up, the other guy's greed would have gotten him killed and he would have come out on top. The girl would still be alive, Kettle would have had his wife.
The real moral, everybody suffers, all the time.
すまんな、力になれなくて。
Just long enough to hear the story.
すぐ戻ります。
Or I won't. One of those two.
And that's just where we end.
Alright, I know I cracked jokes throughout the entire fucking thing, but easily one of the best episodes of the season.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like almost entirely backstory after like the first little fight, which was definitely super fun. But all of that was just really good tragedy put together, like again and again, just every single person here suffering from like all of these decisions that are being made for like greed and power and stuff like
I mean,
that.
you say it, Griff, but it's like, you take a step back. You're saying that the slaves have tragic backstories?
I know, wild, right? How could that be? I thought they were all happy on this.
I'm just
Can't
saying that if
even
you
get me
compare
that.
storytellers, she's not the best. Her story was like slow, it didn't begin at the right part. You know? And then we get the old man storytelling. It's like, yeah, no, he started right where you should start the story. Got to the meat of the story. You felt it. Hers started way too early. You know, didn't pick up with the important parts that meant anything to it.
I guess, like, as the audience, we need to understand where she started and what she's about, because we haven't gotten a lot of that, actually. We've mostly just gotten characterization so far. Meanwhile, we got a whole season.
It,
Arashi.
so what, does he get out?
No, I think there's just some yelling.
No, they're riding off. They're riding off somewhere and they looked angry. So, does she like free him in the night where we see her and him all together? And they're like pissed and they're riding off to get her?
Considering the next episode is called Storm,
Well, he's
and
the
we were-
storm. Remember?
yeah, and we were literally just talking in this show about, like, waiting out the storm. Even if you wait it out, stuff's still gotta happen. Yeah, shit's about to go down.
Well,
I think
again,
you're
we
right.
know 70 plus guys are about to show up too, so.
Oh gosh, so much is about to happen, or should be anyway.
Yeah, and we're like
Not sure when that army's gonna show up.
9 episodes from the end, so we're like vastly starting to run out of time before all this stuff can compound.
The best possible future I can see for all of this is, like, at some point they reach another point where they're like, what are we going to do with Gardar? And then Kettle comes by and says, by the way, there's an army. And then they go, all right, so Gardar, we'll give you your freedom, forgive you for murdering people if you go and fight these people for us. And so then they all team up.
I don't
That'd
know.
be the happiest scenario for them, right?
Despite what I said before, I don't think Gardar is long for this world.
I genuinely have to agree. Like, the way it's written, the tragedy is definitely going to be on Gardar here, I think.
Well, I don't think he's
And
gonna
he's
be
not
a.
gonna bounce
I don't
back
think
either,
he's
I
gonna
don't
be like Thorfinn, that he doesn't have much to come back to. Thorfinn
Mhm.
had his tragedy young, and is aging his way through the comeback. Or Gardar has lost everything as a adult, and
Mhm.
doesn't really seem like he's gonna cope.
This is why I said, like, hey, we have our parallel to Thorfinn here. And you're right, there's differences, but the important similarity is that they are both grieved by the things that have happened to them, thought they lost everything that mattered to them, and are basically out for revenge. And I think the narrative thing is there's two possibilities. The first is he doesn't recover, and we see like what could have been of Thorfinn, i.e., he meets his untimely end in the search of revenge and such like that. Or Thorfinn goes ahead and says, "Hey, you can just give it up, and you'll be a lot better off," and passes on his lesson somehow.
I think the
Which-
similarities are surface level only. I think
Mhm.
that there's too much. There's too much there that makes them far too different stories. Like, you're saying the comparison is an easy one to make, and yeah, it is easy because it's facile. I don't think losing my dad as a kid and losing my kid as a dad are equivalent in any respect.
I mean, I think this entire episode is actually a story of comparisons, right?
It certainly is if you
relate
listen to the guy in the commentary constantly making the comparisons. But I don't
Vinland
feel...
Saga is a land of contrasts. Yeah.
Yeah, so I hear every day, apparently. I don't think they are, though. I don't think they're comparable stories. I think they have similarities, which on the face of it make you want to compare them. But I think that when you get down to the nitty-gritty, they're not comparable at all because the losses aren't the same. Again,
I guess
Thorfinn has no fucking idea what happened to his mom and doesn't fucking care because when he was told, your mom is dying, he said, fuck that bitch, and stayed on the pier, felt sorry for himself.
here's what I think is actually the more critical difference between Thorfinn and Gardar's story, if I were to go ahead and be my own devil's advocate here. Thorfinn, despite being the technical reason for why Thor's died, technically is not the one who made the decision that leads to everything going bad. He, as a kid, I don't think he even bears any of that responsibility. Kids make dumb decisions, etc. Gardar made his own decisions to push too hard, to go for greed, to get things he didn't need, to sacrifice his very comfortable position in life, to go after all that and sacrifice everything else. He is the architect of his own demise. And if he were to somehow make a positive recovery here, there would have to be some acknowledgement that that's A, in his heart, and B, he recognizes that maybe he shouldn't have done that. And given where he is now, he's not going to do that. But Thorfinn has all the time in the world to go, wait a second. Well, we've had 14 episodes of it, where he's gone, oh, although that's the stuff I did, that was bad. I recognize it, and I'm not doing it again.
I'm gonna devil's advocate your own devil's advocate.
Oh, no.
In that Thorfinn was also the architect of his own demise. You are just giving him the hand wave because a child can't decide their own destiny. Well, they can't, but they can. We're not going to blame them for the acts that create their futures, but they are ultimately the cause of, in absence of a father figure, the reason why they are where they are.
Well, I mean, Thorfinn was obviously an innocent kid, episode 1 to
No,
whatever. Right?
You remember he was beating the shit out of the other kids.
Yes,
and the other kids didn't fucking understand why either, because the other kids at play were not fucked up like Thorfinn.
Allow me to elaborate. He doesn't understand the consequences of his actions or the things that he wants at that point. That's why Thor's is literally grabbing daggers out of his hands going, nobody's your enemy. You really don't want to do this. Think about where this leads
you. Are making a legal argument, Griff, that children can't understand the difference. Now, when faced with a reality that does not give a shit, a child left to their own and having to survive will have to understand those differences or die. Right. So we're not in a modern world with modern sensibilities. We are in this world.
Let me go ahead and toss a question at you. So if Gardar's moral failing were to be greed here, if I were to go ahead and say that, what's Thorfinn's moral failing that leads to his initial tragedy?
I think the answer here is very easy, and it's unfortunate you're asking the wrong person. I can't. I don't understand emotions. I don't understand morals. I think all of our time played in RPGs and everything has shown you that I just try to do what's best for me and not the world or the people around me. I mean, what is
I'm going
Thorfinn's?
To say then is that there isn't one.
There is one. He's greedy. I mean, I guess that's his. That's my.
I don't think Thorfinn is greedy at any point.
He is greedy. He disobeyed his father to do what he wanted to do, and that might not be materialistically greedy, but it is selfish. And being selfish is a form of being greedy. That you
He's
only
a baby
care.
Who wants to be like his father? It's like, okay, that's not a crime.
It is actually. It is a crime when you do things that cause harm to others as a result of what your desires are. You're like, love isn't a crime. Well, it is if you stalk a woman and then stab her a bunch of times when she turns you down. That is a crime. And you might say love isn't a crime. But my point being, he just wants to be like his dad. Yeah, the guy who's being ordered to go out and kill people, so he gets on a boat with his dad's weapons so he can follow him in order to kill people, and then causes his dad's death. And then
the exact same way any young child who sees violence and thinks it's cool and just wants to do it and doesn't consider the consequences is just exactly like that. That's every single kid in the universe right there. They're not all evil, I guarantee you.
You are incorrect, because you're following the argument of video games causes violence, which is actually been gone through the court system, by the way, and found to be untrue by various psychological studies. Watching violence does not automatically make you want to commit violence. So it's not like every kid. Every kid in the world doesn't jump off the roof because they watched a cartoon where it happened. Right?
Have you never picked up a stick and tried to play, like, Star Wars with your friends and, hit each other as if they're lightsabers? You never did that?
The difference
Isn't that inherently violent?
The difference there is that I didn't actively try to kill my friends with a stick.
But you still pretended to.
And actively, kids will also try to pull back because they don't want to hit themselves either. So the idea being that somebody who goes 100% is the same as a kid who goes 10% is not a valuable argument, in my opinion.
I guess to just go ahead and reach my own conclusion on this, I do think there's a categorical difference between innocent kid who doesn't know what he's asking for getting punished for wanting to hang out with his dad is categorically different than person who has a happy life and gives it all away at the chance of riches.
All right. Well,
those are two completely different
If
things.
We're pitching final thoughts here, because I feel like this is the stagnation of the argument, that I will once again say that you are putting modern values on the intelligence of a child versus 1,000 years ago, where survival is dependent on children knowing their place. This kid is guilty of performing acts which caused the deaths of others, which is, I don't give a fuck about modern sensibilities in this case. He caused his dad to be put into a position where he had to sacrifice his life to save his son, which is then at the son's feet.
So then, Theta, because we're 3 devil's advocates down, you actually agree with my original point then, thank you.
No, because a devil's advocate isn't a right turn. We don't return back to where we were.
You agree that they're categorically similar, thus they are learning the same lesson, thus they are parallel stories. It's not...
I literally said they're same on the surface level and not if you investigate. So if investigation...
And then you just argue that they're the same.
I literally did not. I don't know where you say I'm arguing that they're the same. I'm indicating that our adult is in a completely different situation than the child, and they are arguing that the child is innocent because he's a child, and I'm saying that doesn't hold true if you remove our modern sensibilities towards childlike innocence.
All I'm saying is, in my heart, I win no matter what. So,
well, I think that holds true to both of us. I don't think we've ever left a debate feeling like, oh yeah, you beat me, you got me. It's always like, well, I guess we're gonna have to end this somehow. So, thanks for watching. This has been Stoneface Reactions. That's Griff. I'm Theta. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, we aren't here to beat each other down.
I'm waving, Griff. Wave. That was our outro.
Sure, we're out.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?